Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm Martin Wenzel. Running a little late, as usual, but we got a long one today. Probably gonna be a 3-hour flight. Hey, Jackie. Welcome back, Jackie. We're here. Where are we? We're in Suriname, and we're on Suriname Airways flying out to, where are we going? If I could say, I can't, my tongue gets tied. Oranjestad, Aruba. And it's going to be Suriname Airways Flight 631 in the Airbus A320 Flybywire A32NX. And we're taking off.
Want to board crew?
Got GSX working here. Perfect.
Crew bus is coming.
Let's see. We're taking off about half an hour, hopefully. And the sun should be coming up. We should get a nice sunrise and a nice flight along the coastline. We'll wait for the crew to get in, I suppose. We'll see how this flight goes. Looking forward to it. It's a little bit long one, so might step away once or twice. Maybe run out and do a little grocery shopping, quick pick up a few things. We'll see how it goes. For that crew bus. Yeah, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between $9.99 and $1,000 the last few weeks, and I think it's just, you know, once I get back into maybe doing the streaming more regular, I think we'll get above that quite easily. Florencia, welcome in. All right, here comes the crew bus. We'll wait for them to get on, and then we'll kind of do all of our
pilots boarding
setup.
starting.
I don't have the camera going just because I don't have my lighting set up and everything right. And I got a ton of boxes in the background. I probably should this afternoon rebuild my old computer, because a few weeks ago, about a week ago now, I got a new what do you call it? A new case so I could build. Basically, I had enough parts. I just had to buy a few parts, a few fans, and then I have two computers with all the upgrades I had made with my old computer. I basically had two of everything, so set up a new computer. That's what we're on right now. I'm not 100% sure if it works very well. Having issues with it compared to what I had with my old one, so I don't know what's that about. It's really weird. But yeah, no webcam. But in the near future, once I have everything kind of set up and I've got things figured out, and I'm kind of feeling sick right now, so I don't... Yeah, I'll be just rubbing my face the whole time. Alright, let's get inside the plane and kind of get some things started quick. So I just want to make sure... The mouse is being a little funky. Alright, parking brake set, flaps are retracted, masters are off, ignition normal. We are in the idle position. I think I'm going to change that detent and get rid of the... Probably not this flight because I need to make sure I set it up right, but I have it right now where I can pull back further and it'll go into reversers. And I always forget that because I'm not used to it. And it makes kind of getting into all the other detents a little harder for some reason.
Your crew has boarded. Bus is coming.
Alright, well, let's get going here so the passengers aren't getting onto a cold, dark plane. So, landing gear down. That looks good. Turn this one up so we can see things once we hit the batteries and the external power. Nav logo light on, wing light on. No smoking auto and emergency lights are armed. Ooh, and crap, not gonna get a good loading sequence here if I don't get over. How do I get to this? Right, you want to make sure you set your payload, otherwise it's not gonna bring any passengers on actually. With GSX Pro. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. Hopefully GSX Pro is going to load a bunch of passengers on. Otherwise I'll be disappointed. Hey Mika! Everyone's in here. Well, I don't know everyone's in here, but a little bit more than yesterday. Got Mika, Jackie, and Florencia so far. Well, it looks like the passenger bus has people, so maybe it's going from SimBrief. You set GSX Pro right, you can go from SimBrief, or it'll go from your weight on your plane. A really cool looking bus with the lights. Oh, Jackie's got to go to sleep. What time is it for you, Jackie? I forgot where you're living. There come the passengers. Need to turn off the messaging there. Oh my. Do all my flights just have 154 passengers lately? I wonder if that's the max on SimBrief for the A320 for some reason. Alright. Alright, fuel. We need... Pull this right from SimBrief. 8060. Do that real time. It's gonna take 6 minutes. No problem. $752. Where are you, Jackie? I don't know where that would be at that time. Turn a little bit of the floodlights on. Alright, let's get down this checklist and get things going before too long. Let's get the... Oh, wrong one. Flight clearance.
Pengel Tower, Suriname 631, parking 5. Request clearance to Rainer Beatrix with information, Charlie. Suriname 631, cleared to Rainer Beatrix.
Well, glad you stopped by, Jackie. Hopefully maybe you can stop by later in the day. I might do a stream in the evening.
Squawk 6553. Cleared to Rainer Beatrix, runway 11, fly runway heading, climate maintain, flight level 30, squawk 6553, Suriname 631. Suriname 631, redback correct. When ready, contact Pengel ground, 121.9er. When ready, contact Pengel ground.
Alright, so let's get our, pull this right from SimBrief, which is really nice. We're going Sierra Mike Juliet Papa to Tango,
Passengers boarding starting.
November Charlie Alpha. Alternate is Braco Island in the ABC Islands there, Tango November Charlie Charlie. Flight number 631. I don't like to have that SLM because it sometimes screws up the ATC. I don't think it actually affects FS HUD ATC, which is what we're using. Cost index 11. Let's get the flight plan up. Double check these, all the numbers, make sure it's pulling it in. Yep, 11 for our cost index. Cruise 380, 38,000 feet today. Go to the flight plan, and we're going to be going to Zulu Yankee. Then we're going to go Uniform Golf 449 Airway. Take that to Korto. There's Korto. Direct to Magir, Bonax, Papa Juliet Golf, and then direct into our final. And we will add this in once we know what exact arrival and star and all that stuff we're going to do. Performance page, get that a little bit later. Anything else right now? We'll go back to knit page. Flight plan go away. This actually might keep changing because I don't think we have all the fuel on yet. Yep, gotta wait for the fuel. $8.1 for the black fuel. It looks like everything's loaded up. That's how quick it goes now. There are times where I'll be sitting here forever, it seems, waiting for the cargo to get loaded. But now the cargo and the passengers get on really quick. I don't know if I changed a setting or something in GSX Pro to make them go faster. But that's alright. See, we're just waiting on that performance information.
After you put your carry-on items in the overhead bin,
get the wind shear on, lock the cockpit door.
Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down
seatbelt
so that
sign,
way
come
other
on.
passengers can get by you. If you're
Start the
seated
APU
in
as
an
well.
emergency exit row, please review the exit seating responsibilities in the safety card provided for you. Please make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you, and welcome aboard.
Okay, this information's all set. Alright, okay. So, we're going to pull up the performance calculator for the A320. Put in our airport code. That's going to give us our runway and our slope and all that stuff. Got our data. Wind 40 degrees, 5 knots. Temperature 29 degrees. Is just warm down in the Caribbean. Isn't that nice? Much warmer than it is here. Even though it's kind of warm for this time of year here in Milwaukee. A far cry from the negative 25 it was about a month ago. But, yeah, it's almost 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Takeoff weight, 66.7 tons. Center of gravity, I believe, is forward, even though I'm not sure the center of gravity is really high. Why the center of gravity is ending up like that now. Air conditioning on, and we'll calculate. Move over to the... There we go, performance page, and we can put our flex takeoff temperature 66, flaps are going to be 1, thrust reduction, like they're always right around this range. Maybe I should reset the default to that. Transition altitude is 3,000 feet. And our numbers are all 148 for our V1 and rotate speeds, and then 149 for the V2. Okay. Looks good. We are set on that front. Let's make sure everything else. Radio nav page, we will save that for later. Put the barometric reference. Actually 1013, so we're just at standard. We got our initial altitude IRS aligned. EFIS is at ARC and 10. Flight directors are indeed both on. Lights. Let's zoom out to a normal position. APU is started. We can turn off the external power. Put the fuel pumps on. Your oxygen supply on, and the beacon light will come on. We are ready for pushback.
Bengal ground, Suriname 631, parking 5.
Of course, this stair shouldn't be right there, but what are you gonna do?
631, pushback and start up approved. Pushback and start up approved, Suriname 631.
We are ready to go when you are.
All right. Pushback is approved. Let's get a GSX using a flow from 42, whatever it's called.
Time will be roughly 2 hours and 33 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed.
Okay, don't fail me now.
That you make sure that all
There it is.
devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and
Prepare for
stowed.
pushback and departure.
If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across.
Okay, this was the problem I had last night. Is I don't remember the keys to doing a custom pushback, and the pushbacks lately with GSX Pro haven't been working that well. Right, let me see if I can find that really quick. While he's hooking everything up.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Oh. See if I can do the quick edit. We're gonna try this again. Maybe I'll stumble button. See, you can see it's gonna push us straight back. And I need to figure out how. Ah, perfect. That's what I want. How do I move the... Oops. There we go. Okay. I think... Okay, make sure we're going the right way for our pushback. We're using runway 11. We want to push back facing exactly the way we're looking. Perfect. So let's see if I can do a little bit of a... Perfect. We hit enter.
Exiting from editing.
There we go.
Please wait.
Locking gear. Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released. Why are my flaps all suspended?
All engines clear. Start at wheel.
There's the pushback. Ignition. Starting engine 2. I think when you do the editing, though, it bumps you off of following the plane. Which is something we'll need while we're in the air. Otherwise, the plane will just fly away.
To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a loss in cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. Start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you, and place it firmly over your nose and mouth. Secure the elastic band behind your head and tighten the strap if necessary. And don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate.
Parking brake set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine
start. If you're traveling with children, now's the time to pick your favorite one. But
alright, starting engine 1. And let's let them know we have a good engine start.
The crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in the pouch under your seat or between the arms.
Unlocking gear.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. This vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion is used as a secondary safety device. Pull the cushion from the seat, put your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Please securely stow all personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are all in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight, and that includes tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is strictly prohibited by law. All of this information and more
engine 1 coming up.
located in the seat back
19 and 20% for the
N1.
N1.
If you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
CPU bleed and master switch off. Runway turn off light and taxi light on. Spoilers armed, flaps set to 1. Weather radar on. And as for taxi clearance.
Bengal ground, Suriname 631. Request taxi.
You know, I'm not sure, Mika. I'm not sure if I'm happy with it. It's kind of hit and miss. Sometimes it works really well. Other times it seems like I'm just fighting. It feels like my... What's really weird to it is that it feels like my CPU has been punched in the gut somewhere. And so it actually took me a few times. One of the times, just before we started the stream, I was trying to use SimBrief. And every time I would go out of Microsoft Flight Simulator and click on my other monitor to go into SimBrief to set that up, the frame rate would go from about 50 frames per second in Flight Simulator with nothing running. I didn't have any of the other planes being ejected or anything. It was about 50 frames per second, and then it would just drop to like 3 frames per second. Every other window on Windows would just it'd be like I was using a computer from 15 years ago with a bunch of viruses on it. So I don't know what's causing that. So that's where I'm a little like worst case scenario is if it just gets to the point where I get annoyed, really annoyed at it, I will just take that card out eventually, or I'll go into a weird like let's troubleshoot this, swap that card out, put my old one back in. Switch all the drivers back to the NVIDIA and see if that makes a change. And I don't know if it's just because I'm expecting more, but I'm noticing there's performance issues where I didn't have performance issues with the older card. I do notice better graphics, and I'm able to run at ultra settings here, and the frame rate's a little better in some situations, but in some situations it's worse. And even outside of Microsoft Flight Simulator, or just dealing with other programs while using Microsoft Flight Simulator seems to be a little bit more janky than it was before. That's a little bit weird. All right, they gave us the clearance. Let's set our max auto brake, takeoff config, test. Ooh, and I have to remember that I changed my tiller. How I use my tiller. It's actually on my throttle now, because for some reason my Z-axis on my Thrustmaster it twitches, and so the tiller kind of flies around and doesn't really respond to what you want. All right, we're ready for taxi. So let's give it a little bit of speed. Yeah, see, there's not as much. Having the indents where I have them, I don't have as much control over my throttle as I did before. Makes it a little bit more difficult, manual landing and stuff. And taxiing.
Please note the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing.
Yeah, so it's
If you require
kind of
additional lighting,
I got
there
this
is a
little
light
wheel
on
that's on the side of my throttle, the Thrustmaster throttle.
We're ready for departure.
And it actually working pretty good. Kind of got to feel where the center position is. You don't go cruising off, but feels okay.
Suriname 631. Contact Bengal Tower 118.5. Contact Bengal Tower 118.5. Suriname 631.
He's kind of making sure you have it back in the center position once you're done kind of taxiing. Alright, we are ready for departure.
Bengal Tower, Suriname 631, runway 11, ready for departure. Suriname 631, line up, runway 11. Line up, runway 11, Suriname 631.
Yeah, so I'm regretting a little bit getting the AMD. I'm starting to think it might have just been better to either wait a little bit longer for the 3080 price to come down, or the 3000 series prices to come down. Maybe hold out for 4000 for the Nvidia, or wait for the AMD 7000 series. But yeah, it's a little. I don't know how much of it's just me thinking it's like, oh well, any little hiccup must be because it's AMD, and maybe it's just. This is how it is if I upgrade, and maybe my CPU is outclassed now by the GPU in this sim. I mean, basically, this is a sim. I always see the articles where it's like, hey, they have the i9 whatever, but you're not going to need it. It's like, yeah, if you're streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator, an i9, crazy, one of those crazy CPUs is going to be what you want, because Flight Simulator is super intense on the CPU. Okay. We're on the runway. Let's hit the chronometer. Config is all good. Trying to get into the flex takeoff. There we go. And brakes released. Here we go. P1 rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And since we're taking off in the morning, we get to see the beautiful landscape here in the
Contact Pengel
northern
approach
shore of
120
South America.
Contact Pengel approach 120.0.
Didn't see much on last night's flight as it was dark most of the way.
Pengel approach Suriname 631 inbound Zulu Yankee at 1,300 climbing flight level 30. Suriname 631 radar contact. Proceed direct Zulu Yankee. Continue climb flight level 120. Proceed direct Zulu Yankee. Continue climb flight level 120. Suriname 631.
Basically, they're going to go back to the airport. Might climb in 12,000 feet, return into the VOR at the airport. Really should just be able to skip that. Oh, let's just skip that. Even though they did tell us to go there. I think it should be alright. I'm glad we did the night flight last night. I wish there was the full moon. It's always nice to be able to see a little bit more than you can just in the dark night, but this flight is scheduled for the morning, and we're going to have a nice flight as the sun rises. And we're going to be headed northwest up to Aruba. Just basically flying along the South American coastline will be on our left. Yeah, this is the right there. I was just I'm on my other screen using Navigraphs, and I'm using the scroll wheel to kind of zoom out on the map. And whenever I do that, my frame rate goes from right now right around 40, between 35 and 40, and every time I hit the scroll wheel, it bumps it down 3, 4, 5. It just progressively goes down to about 20 frames per second, which is, it just blows me away because I never had that issue with my old graphics card and the CPU I have right now. So it's a little weird how seems like there's a little bit more performance issues. And I don't recall. Yeah, basically I've been having these issues ever since I got the new graphics card. Now there's been a few more issues that seem to have popped up also that I'm worried that might also be the hard drive, because I put Flight Simulator and everything on the same hard drive as Windows, and it's on an M2 drive, which increases the loading times compared to the solid state drive I had it on before. But it seems like I'm having some more issues with performance. So maybe the time savings on the loading times are not worth some of the performance issues. There's a lot of stuff you could troubleshoot, I guess. In any case, there's the coast. Paramaribo is just over there. That's the capital of Suriname. We also have a New Amsterdam. There's a New Amsterdam over there. Also New Amsterdam as we cross over into Guyana. I believe Guyana and Suriname must have both been Dutch, heavily colonized by the Dutch. or at least controlled by the Dutch.
Climate maintained. Flight level 210. Suriname 631.
Turn off our landing lights. Landing lights off. We can turn the seatbelt signs off as well. We'll continue our climb to 21,000 feet.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when needed in case of unexpected turbulence.
So at least with Microsoft Flight Simulator, I have not noticed it hasn't been the smoothest transition between my GTX, NVIDIA GTX 1070, which is 6 years old, and this new, I mean, it's a 2-year-old card, but it is brand new out of the box, but it's a card that came out 2 years ago, the Ryzen, AMD Ryzen 6800 XT. I don't know if it's called Ryzen, but, you know, their graphics card. When I first put it in, there are situations where it's like, wow, especially if I'm not streaming. The streaming, I think what's happening is it's all bottlenecked with the CPU. But I've noticed even when I do fly no streaming, usually I obviously don't lose as much frames because of the streaming or the recording, whatever I'm doing, and if I don't have other programs running in the background. But I do notice there's still, it's not smooth as silk. Like if you go watch London Controller over on Twitch, he's got he's got his streaming computer, which has a 3090 graphics card and an i9, and then he has his his new gaming computer where he's actually running Flight Simulator right now. It's a 4090. He's got the i9 13000K whatever. But these are souped up computers. I mean, if you have an insane computer, he's getting 70 frames per second almost all the time at whatever airport he's at. Now, I don't know how much he's using something like an FSLTL traffic injector, which would probably bump that frame rate down a little bit, but I guess I'm okay with the graphics card upgrade. It's allowed me to go to ultra settings and maintain in most situations a slightly better frame rate, but it didn't give me the improvement I was expecting, where I was like, oh, okay, I'll be able to get better frame rates at certain places than I was before. In fact, I might be getting worse. But when it comes to other games, and I'll have to stream some of these other ones, but War of Rights, which is a Civil War one, which is very you can really pump those graphics up in there, and there's a lot going on, especially when you have 100 other players in the lobby, in the battle. And I pumped all the graphics up. When I was on my old graphics card, I'd be getting, if I had the graphics set to like the high settings or whatever, which is where I like to have them, at least, I think I was like 30 to 50 frames per second. Probably more in the 40s. It was a little, I might be even overestimating. It wasn't that great if I had my settings really pushed. I had to compromise places. I set them to the max over there in War of Rights with this new graphics card, and I'm about, once in a while I'll dip into the 50s, but it's usually 60 frames per second. No problem. Skyrim, I have a heavily modded Skyrim game going on, and I basically limited my graphics card to running between 60 and 75 frames per second because my refresh rate on my monitor is 75 hertz, so there's no reason to go above that. All that's doing is I'm getting 150 frames per second, and my card is burning up. So on that one, I actually have the frames limited, and it runs pretty well. Now again, in like the last couple weeks though, I've been noticing situations where it's hiccuping. It's struggling to keep up for some reason. So I don't know what is. Somewhere there's a bottleneck that's developed, or I messed up a setting somewhere that causing my computer not run as well. But I did notice vast improvements with almost everything. Flight Simulator is just so heavy on the CPU that actually with my latest with the graphics card upgrade, the CPU is now the bottleneck. A major bottleneck now. Alright, so we're just about to cross. You can see the coastline there, and we're crossing into the Caribbean. Now, this has got to be my favorite time of day to fly. Sunrise. Sunrise is probably my favorite because it's only going to get, like, you get that beautiful, rich orange, reds and oranges, purples as the sun starts coming up, and then you get to this point, and then it only gets brighter, right? Because you're going into the day. I don't like the evening as much because the evening you go into the, and then suddenly it's dark. You can't see anything. Makes it harder to see your flight. Let's go back over here. Let's get a screenshot. Need to get a screen there. Come on, you gotta get those. Gotta get the beautiful sun shot right there. We'll just leave it right there for now. Let's continue up to 34,000. So we're actually gonna get to 38,000. Nice cruise. Again, like I said, a longer flight. Right now it's saying about 2 hours 11 minutes to go. So not extremely long, but longer than a few of them, and longer than I think the next flight we're gonna be flying from Aruba over to Bonaire. So Aruba is the furthest. There's the ABC Islands. Let's see if I can pull up Atlanta for this. I'll show you where we're going. All right, give me 1 second. There it is. Okay, Atlanta. All right. You can see our flight right there. And we're going to be, we're just going to have South America on our left. We're going to fly over Trinidad and Tobago, where we were a little bit ago. And now they're called the ABC Islands. So here they are. You have Aruba, and then Bonaire right here, and then Curacao, or Curaçao, however it's said. And so we're going to be flying to Aruba first, then we're going to get in a 787, maybe this afternoon, and fly over to Bonaire. That's a crazy flight, but that's a real life flight. It's a KLM flies between Aruba and Bonaire, and then probably Bonaire, I think, over to Amsterdam, and and then vice versa somehow. But it's one of those like very short hops, and that one's gonna be crazy because we're gonna get in, we're probably gonna cruise at what, 10,000 feet if that, and be up and down, landing that big plane, and then we're gonna go from Bonaire over to Curaçao, and I'm not sure where from there. I think up to Haiti we'll be bouncing up to Haiti, just get a longer flight in, but we got quite a few islands we're gonna be hitting, and we do also have to get back down to French Guiana. But before that next flight in the KLM, I need to find the right livery. We're gonna be doing the blue KLM, but it's got that orange nose, and you can see it on the thumbnail, obviously on YouTube. But the version I have is like back from when early on with Microsoft Flight Simulator, where it was flickering. I figured the new graphics card would help with the flickering too, but it doesn't. So. But the livery I have is still when liveries had that mirroring. So on your right-hand side, the logo and the text is all correct, but on this side of the plane, the logo's backwards. It's mirrored. Unless you're far enough away. It depends on the zoom. It's weird. And so I want to make sure I can find an updated version of it so that we don't have that issue, because livery painters in Microsoft Flight Simulator have figured out the trick to avoiding that mirroring now. It's always interesting when I still see people upload a mirrored version and a real version They're like, here's a mirrored version if you want that. It's like, who wants the mirrored version? I don't get that. Because that's not what it would look like in real life. Anyway, we are flying out into the Caribbean now, or I don't know if this is... Yeah, I guess it's still technically the Caribbean Sea. And it is beautiful. Really nice when you get when you have the nice clouds like this. The sun just bouncing off just right.
Suriname 631, climb and maintain, flight level 380.
Climb and maintain, flight level 380, Suriname 631.
631, contact Georgetown, Center 128.6.
Contact Georgetown Center 128.6. Suriname 631. Georgetown Center, Suriname 631, inbound, Takeoff at flight level 380.
Suriname 631, radar contact, maintain, flight level 380.
Maintain flight level 380, Suriname 631.
will be starting our in-flight meal service. Please look in your seat back for our menu, and one of our crew members will stop by shortly for your order. If you would like to order additional menu items, please hit the flight attendant call button at any time, and we'll be over shortly to assist.
Hey, Byron Middleton, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Sorry, I was away from the computer for a moment. Hope you're enjoying the flight. Hope it's all looking pretty good on your end. Hope you're having a good new year too. Got an hour and a half, it looks like. Probably an hour and a half before we gotta really start paying attention to our final plannings for our landing and all that. I'm starting to lose the clouds as we get a little bit further out into the Caribbean, it looks like. And we're still just about as far from the coast, though, as we were before. Wherever the coast is, probably right there. That's Guyana. And then we'll soon be passing by Venezuela, and we'll be flying over Trinidad and Tobago. Then we'll get a little bit of a course change right after Trinidad and Tobago. To course correct towards the ABC Islands, Aruba, Krakatoa, and Bonaire. We're flying to the one furthest west, which is Aruba.
Suriname 631. Contact Piago Center 123.7.
Contact Piago Center 123.7. Suriname 631. Piago Center, Suriname 631. Inbound, Corto at flight level 380. Suriname 631. Radar contact. Maintain flight level 380. Maintain flight level 380. Suriname 631.
Hey, Ramam. How are you doing? Where are we at? We kind of lost the clouds here. We're just got the South American coast off to our left. Probably it right over there. Not as many clouds, except for on the terrain. On the terrain itself, the satellite imagery. Yeah, we're kind of just in the long part of the flight here. Cruising 38,000 feet. And to be honest, we have a little time. We should check out what the passengers are doing. Kind of give you guys a look at Pack X, something we haven't done too much of. I think that works. So there's Pack X showing up. You can also see our FS HUD ATC. Gotta hide that. Get Pack X over here. Here are passengers. Cool thing about Pack X for your passengers is it gives you like names that would kind of fit in the area of the world where you're flying. Now you'll get a good mix too. You'll get, obviously, here's someone on business, on travel. You're gonna have your Spanish names. We're in the Caribbean, so should have some more Hispanic names, but we also got our just Bruce Marshall. I was gonna say that's my one of my friend's dads right there. Except maybe about 10 years too young. Whenever I have time to do it, I like to just pop in here and kind of see who's on the flight. If there's anyone famous. I mean, basically right there, Bruce Marshall, that was the one. That's a kind of a familiar name for me. Friend's dad. But otherwise, I haven't seen anyone else. I've seen Blessing Heart a few times on these flights. It'd be kind of cool if they were the same people, too. The stats would end up being the same. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, it's really cool because if you are into just checking out who's on your flight, you have time to kind of mess around with it. You can see, the names kind of fit. I don't think Pack X is. It's a little bit more polished and works a little bit better with Microsoft Flight Simulator than self-loading cargo. Self-loading cargo is just one guy developing that, and I like it more, but it does have a little bit of quirks, and Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't like to play with it as well. I'm going to have to give it another try, because it is I do like it a little bit more in Pack X. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. Self-loading cargo has so much stuff that you can interact with the passengers, and lots of stats about them. It even goes down like how much their baggage weight is and their carry-on weight and all that stuff. If you're really into that stuff, again, it's now that I stream my flights, it's not as necessary to have Pack X or self-loading cargo going. But I remember when I first started flying an X-plane, I was kind of like, oh, I need to have. It'd be nice to have passengers on the plane and have them reacting a little bit. But now with the streaming, it's like almost you guys are the passengers, more so than these guys. Than our AI passengers, our virtual passengers. Yeah, I don't recognize anyone on the flight. Man, we got some of the names right here at the bottom. Josef Ronaldo's Ferraz. Whew. Zunaira, Family Vlogs. Zunaira, welcome. Welcome in. Yeah, how is everyone? How are you? I'm doing alright. Getting over a cold here. Just getting over a cold. But have a... Well, originally had a 3-day weekend scheduled, but then I picked up some hours. Picked up about 9-10 hours of work on a Saturday. But we're kind of in the slow time of year for my job. One week I only had 36 hours, and usually we're pushing 60 most weeks, and so I'm getting 20 hours overtime most of the time. But with that, doing that most of the year, or at least half the year, we're pushing 60 hours most of the time every week. Yeah, you can afford, if you plan everything right and save your money. I can survive the 36-hour week, and it's always nice to have those. Then you get a little bit more time to fly. I'm from America, from the United States, from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just I want to say an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Chicago, on Lake Michigan. Have you ever visited Milwaukee or Chicago or America? Okay. You're not sure exactly where it is. Let's give you guys a look. Up of Atlanta again. Atlanta's a good map. Our flight. We're way down here right now, just off the coast of South America. Coming up on Trinidad and Tobago. It's gonna be right in front of us. Probably that right there, coming up. And flying over to Aruba. And I am from all the way up here. We're going to be headed back up to the United States on this world tour. We're going to be, once we get through the Caribbean, we're going to bounce up to Miami, then out to Bermuda, then up to New York, and then we're going to be kind of bouncing across the country. I think we're going to get up to Vancouver, and then back down to San Diego before we go over to Hawaii and start knocking out the islands in the Pacific on this world tour. Anyway, I'm from right here, right there in Milwaukee. I'm actually kind of smack dab right in the middle of Milwaukee, right there. And I think in my life I've only taken one flight out of Milwaukee Mitchell International. And that was, well, maybe two. I think I flown to New York once out of Mitchell, and then a flight down to Phoenix out of Mitchell. But Chicago's usually one I flew in and out of when I lived in China. We'd go Chicago to Shanghai. Usually Chicago to Shanghai. Or when I first went over to China, I think I would get like a multi-stop flights, and I would go like Chicago to Seoul, and then to Beijing, or Seoul down to Shanghai. But once I kind of learned the trick, that's like, you know what, it's worth it to just get the non-stop, go Shanghai, Chicago direct. Because when I lived in China, I lived right here, Hangzhou. Lived in Hangzhou. My first time in China, I actually lived over here. Then I lived in Hangzhou. And then before we left the last time, I lived in my wife's hometown down here in Zhengda. And if you have no idea where this is in China, if you know like the Yellow Mountains, if you ever heard about the Yellow Mountains, that's right there, Huangshan. They're in here. And there's Wuhan. Oh. But we're over here right now, flying South America, going from Suriname to Aruba, flying over Trinidad and Tobago pretty soon. We got Guyana, actually Venezuela off to our left right now. And not the greatest of satellite imagery for Venezuela. A lot of clouds on the land itself. Zunaira. Oh, okay. I'm kind of behind on the messages. Let's see. Visited Chicago. Cool. Did you I'm guessing you say, did you know the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean will not exist in 2030? Inshallah, as they will unite to form the Federation of Americas on February 4th, 2026, including Mexico. I have not heard anything of that. Federation of the Americas. Let's see if I can find anything on that on the internet. Because that'd be very interesting. Especially since, like, right now, so I've been doing this world tour for 2-3 years now between X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Restarted it with Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we're going to hit every country in this sim. But obviously, if they all combine into one country, we don't have as many flights to do in this part of the world, and it'd be a little bit of a shame. I guess I'd have to do a little bit more of what I'm doing in the United States, which I'll bounce different parts of the United States on this world tour. So what is it called? Federation of the Americas. Yeah. Well, the only thing I could find for the Federation of the Americas is Call of Duty. Let's see. When was it formed? Well, you didn't get the date from that, at least, because in Call of Duty it formed in 2014. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think as you live through history sometimes, I think it doesn't go. Things don't change as fast as it appears. Things changed in history in the past. Now there have been times in history where things have been just changing on a daily basis or a yearly basis. Things would just go up and down. But you know, when you're kind of living in the moment, it feels like, well, why don't we have all the big changes, like, you know, forming of new countries, and because there's not as many countries forming and disappearing as there used to be, but part of that's because a lot of things are more stable and are not allowed to disappear anymore. What group of people? Like I said, I looked it up. I'd like to see like where you're finding that. Federation of the Americas. Well, here, this might be something. Federation of the Americas, Weebly.com. Oh, this website's like for like Arma 3 or something. Just look up Federation American War. And you will look up the prediction. Okay, Federation. I've never heard of that as a thing, but it's kind of interesting. Like the one website I found, it's like kind of an alternate history of the United States for Arma. There's Trinidad and Tobago right there. We flew into Port of Spain a few flights ago. Federation American War. Yeah, I can't find anything about that. It's not a completely outlandish idea. I mean, it was something that Simon Bolivar tried to do in the, you know, when all those various countries fought for their independence, or those colonies, the Spanish colonies fought for their independence. There are a lot of those independence movements, and I think Bolivar was one that wanted to kind of combine them into a federation, similar to how you have the United States of America, right? The United States of America. We say the United States of America now. Well, it was these United States of America up until the Civil War, the American Civil War, and then it became the United States. It became a singular thing where you can't leave anymore. Whereas originally it was a federation. It was a collection of 13, and then more would come in over the years of different sovereign states that then formed this federation for mutual defense and eventually more mutual economy and dealing with the rest of the world. And yeah, Simon Bolivar definitely wanted to do that. There were a number of those leaders down there had those ideas. You had Gran Colombia, which I think was made up of Colombia, Bolivia, Venezuela, and eventually those split up into those three or four different countries came out of that Gran Colombia after Bolivar's death, and after kind of they just couldn't hold together the disparate peoples.
Contact Marketeer Center 124.0, Suriname 631.
I don't remember Trinidad and Tobago looking so nice when we flew into it. I don't remember it looking like this, but again, we're at 38,000 feet. When we were coming in, landing, and taking off from it, you're much lower, but so it looks really cool. I didn't realize it was so populated, actually. Quite a bit of settlement. Looks really cool. Just so awesome. I think that's my favorite part of Flight Simulator is it's just bringing in all that information from the cloud and projecting it onto this globe here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't have to download photogrammetry and stuff like I did back in X-Plane to make it look like this. I can fly over a place, and at 38,000 feet, that looks great. That's all you need. You don't need it to look. Obviously, when you're flying lower, it's going to look more or less realistic or not. And Flight Simulator does a very good job of the VFR flying in most areas. It looks really good. And obviously, Flight Simulator 2030 or 2040 or 2 or 3 iterations from now. I mean, even the next one is going to melt our brains. And the 1, 2 iterations, 3 iterations from now, when I'm 60 years old and it comes out, I'm going to be like, this looks nothing like when I first got into Flight Sim. And when I first got into Flight Sim, it wasn't even Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 levels, so. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the Nepal plane crash. Yeah. I saw that. I didn't really look into it, but yeah, I saw there was a plane crash in Nepal. Oh, plane crash. Let me see if I can get the details on that. I didn't really, yeah, I saw it, you know, on my feed, but I didn't really look into it. I was like, oh, that's not good. All right, we got this little finger. Right now we're flying over the Gulf of Paria. And kind of right in front of us is a little finger of Venezuela that sticks out towards Trinidad and Tobago. All right, Nepal. Plane crash. All right, it's from BBC.com. By Rajini Vaidyanathan in Pokhara. Let's see. Pilot of the flight that crashed in Nepal did not report anything untoward as the plane approached the airport. Okay, so it was coming in on landing, it sounds like. Which airport was it landing at? Anop Joshi said that the mountains were clear and visibility was good, adding there was a light wind and no issue with weather. Well, anytime there's a plane crash, it's a dark day for aviation. And it's because I think it's always such a shock because it's a number of people all at once. It's usually a plane crash is usually oftentimes fatal, and it's such a rare occurrence when you really look at the statistics. When you look at how many flights, how many people are flying, it's so rare compared to the number of automobile accidents that we don't even think about. No one thinks about automobile accidents. But a plane accident, and you're going to have how many people are going to be like, I'm afraid to get on a plane now, right? When it's like, in reality, it's like, it's such a rare occurrence. Now, there are certain areas where it's a little bit more, it happens more often, or there's a more higher chance of it happening. Certain countries, certain airlines, certain airports. Let's see, there were 72 passengers and crew aboard the Yeti Airlines flight from Kathmandu to the tourist town of Pokhara, which crashed on Sunday. Alright, so I've flown into and out of Kathmandu in X-plane, but I don't know Pokhara. So where's Pokhara? No one is believed to have survived. It is the country's deadliest plane crash in 30 years. Mobile phone footage showed the plane rolling sharply as it approached the runway. It then hit the ground in the gorge of the Seti River, just over a kilometer from the airport. The pilot asked for a change from the assigned runway 3 to runway 1, which was granted by the airport. Oh, it's a new airport too. Very unfortunate the incident happened just 15 days after the airport had opened for business. Indra Prasad Saptolka said he saw the plane turn to its side before it crashed. He was thankful it landed away from the houses close by. Yeah, these aviation accidents are not uncommon in Nepal, where remote runways and sudden weather changes can make for hazardous conditions. Okay, let's see if I can find a... What is this? This is Pokhara. Where's Pokhara? kind of want to see what this airport looks like. There's runway 3 and runway 1. Those are kind of a weird layout for the airport. Doesn't sound right. Okay, where? It doesn't look like a particularly. This I'm looking at. It doesn't look particularly dangerous, especially. I mean, it is in between. It is in a valley, but the airport's kind of a wide open area. At least what it looks like. It doesn't look like it's a. Weird. Okay, it must have. Okay, the story's confusing me. It says the pilot asked to switch from. Where's it? Pilot asked for a change from the assigned runway 3 to runway 1. It'd be nice if I could find the. What airport is this? The tourist town of Pokhara. Let's see if I can find something else about this, because that's not a very good. Yeah, it was probably a stall. An ATR 72, okay. Concerns about the new airport. Be helpful. I haven't been able to find a single maybe if I go flight aware, and they'll be able to show me more information about it. What's the flight? The flight is 691 Yeti Airlines. Flight aware. Yeti Airlines. Darius Miles, I don't think I do. Doesn't ring a bell. I'm looking up on FlightAware this flight number, and all the flights, they always just say last seen near a certain place. Is Gorka the play? Is Gorka in? God, I'd love to be able to figure out what airport they were going into so I could like look at it. Like Gorka is it? Huh. Darius Miles, basketball player. Oh, he's just a college basketball player though, yeah. Oh, he plays professional. What do you play for professional? Clippers, Cavaliers, Blazers, Grizzlies. Yeah, I still don't know why we can't get this. What setting would fix that? Maybe the NVIDIA. If I got an NVIDIA card, it would fix that. I don't know. Went from the GTX 1070 to the AMD 6800 XT. And didn't really solve this problem, this flickering light problem here. Yeah, it looks like he's been arrested for murder. Because there was a shooting. Where was this? What was it saying? Shooting near. At the Walk of Champions at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm guessing that's at the University of Alabama. So. Huh. But that can't be the same guy. No. I looked up Darius Miles. There's okay, but let me see. There's this one. Oh, okay. There's a Darius Miles that played in the NBA, but he's 41 now, and he didn't play in college. He went straight from high school to NBA. Well, he was a third pick in the okay. But that's not him. There's another Darius Miles who plays for the University of Alabama, and it says he's 21. So this is clearly a different guy. Yeah, different guy. This is actually a current Alabama basketball player. That makes more sense. I was like, why is this former NBA guy didn't really have a stellar career, but why is, so it wasn't like completely out of nowhere, like, oh, he could possibly be involved in something, but why is he down with the University of Alabama, at the campus or whatever? And it's like, oh, he's 21? Well, he can't be 21 if he was drafted in the NBA 20 years ago. Do I know any Islamic airlines? I don't know. Like airlines that are run by, I don't know if they have Islamic airlines. I know different Middle Eastern airlines. I don't know if they're Islamic per se or not, but, I've flown, because we did do, quite a few of my flights have already been through the Middle East, so I mean, I've done Iran Airways, Iraqi Airways, obviously United Emirates. I think I've flown Saudi Arabian, Fly Dubai, Middle Eastern Airways, or airline, whatever. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head that I've flown. And then I've flown a few of the... I don't think of any other ones, really. I'm going to have to look. I'm not sure how many more places we have to go to complete the world tour. I think I kind of redid a bunch of places I had gone to an X-plane in the Middle East. So I had gone back to Egypt, went back to Dubai, did a bunch of those. So I don't know how many of those are going to be popping up on the world tour in the future, but there's nothing to say that once I complete the entire world tour and get to every country in the world, we can't just keep going and doing the same thing into the future. But it might become more I might feel a little bit more freedom to do different flights, a few more requests and stuff as well. Yep, I know Finnair. Finnair's not Islamic, is it? It's from Finland. Yep, I flew Finnair a few times when we were up in flying around Finland and Sweden and that area. I think we did one flight with the, you know, kind of a Christmas livery on it with the reindeer and stuff. Pretty cool. I'm gonna jump down here and get the MEDAR data for the arrival. Do you live? Where do you live? Are you from? Are you living in Finland and you want to be able to get a route that goes down there to Riyadh? I don't know how to say that. Riyadh. How is that said? There's so many names I never. Yeah, you see them in you see them in written out, but then you can't ever recall if you actually heard it. And then when you actually put the two and two together, you're like, oh, that's how I say that one. There's been a few where I've done that, where it's like, oh, that's what you were saying all these years. You're saying that place. Let's print this out. I'm just going to throw this in right now into the arrival approach information. So currently there is 11 knot winds at 100 degrees. Temps are 30. And the QNH is 1015. Yeah, I'm still kind of envious of London Controller and his, anyone who's got a crazy souped up, I just know I watch him, and when he first got his new gaming computer for his stream, and then took his old game computer and made that the streaming computer, and the old one wasn't anything to sniff at either. I mean, it had a 3090, you know, RTX 3090 for the graphics card, i9 processor. I mean, souped up already. Then he gets his new one is a 4090. 4090 with an i9, you know, the newest blazing processor. And now he's got a streaming computer and a gaming computer and flight simulator, max settings, other stuff running, you know, scenery, VATSIM, whatever. And he's getting 60 plus frames per second all the time. It just blows me away. I mean, I suppose it's almost worth the $3,000 at least that system would cost. You know, just the graphics card and I'm guessing the CPU together, probably. Oh well, maybe someday. Yeah, but back to Finnair. It was interesting where certain airlines have routes to. You wouldn't think, like a Finnair, you wouldn't think it would have a route to somewhere in the Middle East. But there are some where there's some airlines where you think of it and you're like, oh yeah, that's an airline out of whatever country it is, wherever it is, and you're like, yeah, that must fly around that country. And then you look at its actual routes, and every single route is from one hub in the country, and it goes to all these very random places in the world. I don't know how routing is decided in some cases, but you know, some of these places where it'll go from the capital of a country and it goes to some random middle of nowhere city in another country, but it doesn't have a route to the main city in that country, that other country. It just has this whatever place, this small little town, one runway airport, middle of nowhere. Alright, that island out there, that's Lankia Island. A few more small ones are right there. Then on our other side, that might be it. Oh, there's gotta be one right up there. Must be right behind the post. Yeah, right there. That's gonna be Tortuga Island. That sounds familiar. Actually, I think I downloaded a freeware airport for La Tortuga Punta Delgada Airport. Sierra Victor Delta Alpha. I think I downloaded the freeware airport for that. We just flew over Isla Margarita. Right there. What is that? Pretty interesting. Like a road or something? No, it's just, oh yeah, it is. It's like a breakwater or something. I wonder if that's natural. There is a road on a chunk of it over this side. Pretty cool. I've been talking to myself this whole time. I had the mic off. I was talking about our approach and all that. Always check to make sure your mic is actually on before you start rambling on about stuff. Basically what I was trying to do is I was trying to put in the go-around information but the Airbus only lets us put in our to the runway. But once we get to the runway, we're going to come back out, and if we have to do a go-around, I'll have to throw that stuff in quick so we can get that hold point and then do a try again for our landing. We also put in the minimums. And our key altitude we are targeting is that we need to be right about here, I think. Right there, I think, that D. And again, that probably means something. I wish I knew what that meant. But that point right there, we need to be at 4,000 feet. And then the next turn, finals 2,500, and then our glide slope captures at 2,000 for the ILS runway 11. All right, do I know Simply? I don't know Simply Aviation or Nonstop Dan. No, I don't. Where are they at? Are they on YouTube? Nonstop Dan. It does flight reviews. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I've seen. I'm wondering if I've seen him like pop up. That'd be so cool to do though. See, I never figured out how to like make a YouTube channel. The people, it's like that's what they do. They go and review and do stuff like that. I don't know how to do that. That's just it. I'm always blown away by those people. Simply Aviation. Simply Aviation. Crazy. It's just amazing, you know, when you go around to, you know, look at YouTube, you see all these different channels where people are doing the stuff they're doing on the channels, like just traveling around the world doing reviews. It's like, how do you start that? I mean, it's got to be an investment right off the front, you know. Hey Bulldog, welcome in. I'm hoping ATC is gonna give us a clearance soon to start descending. Right in front of us, we got what we got coming up here? Well, that's Bonaire right in front of us. We're gonna be flying to Bonaire next flight, maybe this late afternoon, and if not this afternoon, then whenever the next time I'm able to stream. That'll be a short flight from Aruba to Bonaire in a 787, nonetheless. Sam Chui. I do not. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys.
Suriname 631, radar contact, expect Hurl to Alpha, arrival, Illumina ILS, Zulu, approach, runway 11, report when ready for descent.
Perfect, we already put all that stuff in, so only thing I want to check is make sure our gate parking is correct. Alright.
Expect L2 Alpha, arrival, Illumina ILS, Zulu, approach, runway 11, report when ready for descent, Suriname 631.
No, I haven't tried any of those liveries. I didn't know there were.
Suriname 631, ready for descent.
Suriname 631, maintain, flight level 380.
Maintain flight level 380, Suriname 631.
But what I've been looking at, I've been kind of paying attention, and this is something I'm debating if I want to drop any money on it, but getting those the E-Jets from Flight Sim Studio. I don't remember who else I was following that was going to be doing the E-Jets, if this was the people that were going to do it. But I've seen these pop up, and I've heard some positive things. I've seen some negative videos from one of the people I subscribe to, who, you know, and he's just put out, he's had a slew of videos recently about how the E-Jets are kind of a scam a little bit, and that if you want to go with a regional jet, you might as well go with Aerosoft's CRJs, which I do have. That these E-Jets are a little bit of a scam, and so I don't want to be scammed if I'm going to be spending money, but it'd be nice to have the Embraers. But I'm kind of at the point where I think I have enough planes right now, and the budget just doesn't allow me to get all these planes. It'd be nice to have them and be able to kind of feature them, and you know, especially when the planes kind of just come out. People are really excited to see whatever video you can find on them, but
Suriname 631. Contact.
I'm not very good at
Center
investing.
124.1.
Contact Curacao Center 124.1.
Curacao. Okay, that's how it said. Curacao. Well, at least that's how it's saying it.
Curacao Center, Suriname 631, inbound Derlo at flight level 380.
Suriname 631. Radar contact. Maintain. Flight level 380.
Maintain flight level 380, Suriname 631.
Alright, they're having us maintain, which is a little concerning. Right up in front of us, that is... we're over Bonaire right now, so that's Curacao. And Willemstad, which will be our flight. I think from Bonaire we'll fly. Or no. Why do I think... oh, no, we're going to Raja now. Yeah, Willemstad will be our flight. We'll go from Aruba to Bonaire and then to Bonaire to Curacao. So we're actually doing the ABC Islands in order, A, B, C. They actually sit A, C, B. But I think the ABC Islands just flows off the tongue better than the ACB Islands. Or the BCA Islands, whichever direction you're going. We're going BCA right now. East to west. La Porch. No, I do not.
Suriname 631. Descend and maintain. Flight level 290.
Descend and maintain flight level 290, Suriname 631.
Alright, finally getting our descent. Go. Belt signs on. I am a Christian of the Lutheran variety.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt. To assist with customs at our destination, flight attendants will begin handing out forms momentarily. Please review and complete these forms and keep them with you for presentation upon arrival.
I don't upload anymore. I just live stream now for the most part. I should get into uploading videos again and shorter videos or different stuff. I want to, get into some different topics. Would be nice, but I just don't have the time. Basically, I just stream when I can. I was on a good schedule. Basically, I would stream every time I have a day off. It'd always be in the morning, 6:30, 7 in the morning my time. Today we started about an hour and a half later than I used to do. And as we roll into winter here, it's been harder for me to just get out of bed early. But typically I typically have 2 days off a week, so I should be able to stream at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times. That's always my goal, is to stream whenever I can. But also have a 1-year-old baby, so that's why I try to stream early in the morning. I get up early, knock out a stream for 2-3 hours if I can, and then the rest of the day is, doing the rest of the chores and whatever I have to do on my days off. Yep, 1 kid. 1 boy. He is Elishua. That's his name, Elishua. Yep, want to set up the next generation, of course. Yep.
Suriname 631, descend and maintain. Flight level 200.
Descend and maintain. Flight level 200. Suriname 631.
Zip Air. Nope, I don't know Zip Air. There's Zip Air. Oh, Japan. Well, I know the airlines, a lot of the airlines from places I've flown on my world tour here in both X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator now, because I'm always kind of researching, trying to figure out, okay, what flight do I want to do? Can I find delivery for the plane I want to fly with and for the real life flight? And that's kind of like, it's kind of like a two goals on this thing, is to fly to every country in the world and to fly on a lot of different airlines and, kind of expose people to different airlines, different cool liveries that are out there. So is that Karatso right there? Wow, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Pretty, there's the airport down there that we're going to be landing at, I think 2 flights from now. So this next flight, we're going to be in the 787, going over to Bonaire, which is back there, behind us. But then going to Karatso, we're going to be flying in the Bombardier. We're going to be in the CRJ 550. And we should be able to land at that runway. It looks long enough. I mean, obviously, we're able to take a 787 off from Aruba and take it over to Bonaire. We should be able to probably land it. If we need to take a 787 from Bonaire to Karatso, probably. But we're just going to be in the CRJ for that one. That'll be nice. But if you'd asked me if I had known about Suriname Airways, you know, a few months ago, I probably wouldn't have. World Athletics. No. No, I don't. Pulling out a lot of stuff here. I don't know. World Athletics. Oh, it's an event? I found the channel. Okay, so it's like a certain event. What is it? Is it like cross country or something? Or that's what I'm finding. It's like a lot of different running stuff. Coming down to 22,000. Actually, they want us down to 20,000, so let's get down there. I do have the speed brakes out. That way we can get down quickly enough. You see there's a little bit of a peninsula that kind of sticks out from Venezuela. I don't know what that's called.
Suriname 631, clear L2 Alpha, arrival.
The Gulf Golfete de Caro behind it. There's a little strip that kind of holds out to that. Go ahead.
Suriname 631, descend and maintain, flight level 110.
Descend and maintain, flight level 110, Suriname 631.
Suriname 631.
Alright, so we're coming in pretty good. See the island right in front of us. That's where we're going to be landing. In Aruba. Already see our temperatures. Outside, it's already... I think that's the outside temperature, right? 11 degrees. What do you mean, when am I available? Available for what?
Suriname 631, proceed direct to Lumo.
Proceed direct to Lumo. Suriname 631.
Live streaming, it kind of moves around because I'm like I work every other weekend typically, and so my days off are never the same. I can kind of project out ahead. Usually I can say, okay, I'm going to be available this weekend and the next 2 weekends from that, because I work every other weekend, so then I'm off every other weekend. So I can kind of do that, but I don't know when I'm going to be off during the week, so it's a little bit up in the air. I try to, I'm working on getting back into it. There was a lot of just busy the last couple months, rebuilding my computers, setting that stuff up. But I think it's good. It's going to start getting a little bit more settled again, where at least I'll be able to, once I know my schedule, okay, here's the schedule for the next week or two, and you'll see the upcoming streams. And unless I completely flake out or, you know, something comes up, should be able to know a little bit ahead of time. But typically, like I said, I try to stream morning my time, so you know, we're kind of getting towards the end of, it's almost it's 11:30 in the morning for me now, so if you can kind of figure that out. And this is kind of the end of a longer stream. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope once we hit 1,000 we can start, once I get streaming on the regular again. Like I said, the past few months it's kind of been troubleshooting. I've been having internet issues, then I got a new graphics card, computer issues then with that, and then with all the holidays and everything. I do use Discord. I need to use it more and more. I need to make everything more of a, okay, doing this, making sure I'm always posting in there, making sure you guys know. But I do post on Discord, and obviously if you guys are in Discord and chatting and asking questions and stuff, I will be in there more often.
Suriname 631, descended, maintain, flight level 50.
It's always like the more you guys are there, and I'm not showing up, the more I feel, the more I'm going to be getting in there. Right? I'm not always. So if you're there and you're asking questions and you're sharing stuff and posting things, I will make it more of a habit to log in. I've kind of gotten away from it just because, again, like I said, all the computer stuff, I haven't reinstalled it and made it kind of part of the workflow every day. BR elections. What is BR? It doesn't show me the flag there on that.
We have begun the final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure
Okay, landing lights on as we cross 10,000. We do have the seatbelt signs on. Still at standard pressure. Brazil, yeah. It basically seemed like kind of a repeat a little bit about kind of like the American election a few years back, or really the certification of the election, but it was kind of a little bit eerie in a way. Alright, so we're coming into Queen Beatrix International Airport. I didn't really read off where we're going to be flying today, besides that we're flying to Aruba. But yeah, it's Queen Beatrix International Airport in Oranjestad, Aruba. We got all these airports named after queens in the Caribbean. And they're not queens we really, at least in America, that we're really familiar with, because in America we tend to be a little bit more British-centric or Anglo-centric, because, of course, the United States comes from England, and so we kind of trace our history back through England, despite the fact that a lot of us come from, a lot of our ancestors come from elsewhere, but as a whole, Queen Beatrix. Okay, so Beatrix was the queen from 1980 to 2013. And then we'll be flying like Princess Juliana Airport. So it's not Queen Juliana, but it's Princess Juliana Airport up in Sint Maarten. She was the queen before Queen Beatrix. So this one's named after one of the more recent queen. And interesting how they all advocate.
Suriname 631, descend and maintain. Flight level 30, contact Beatrix, approach 118.0.
Descend and maintain. Flight level 30. Contact
They're not that I know of. I don't know of a Queen Elizabeth II airport. That's what I'm saying. It's like all these airports named after queens and princesses. They're Dutch. It's the Dutch royal family. So you have Beatrix. She was the queen just before the current king of the Netherlands now. And I believe she's still alive. She just abdicated. And then, her mother was Queen Juliana, the namesake of Princess Juliana Airport in Sint Maarten, the famous one where the planes take off over the beach, or they land over the beach there. Alright, proceeding direct to Davla. Need to be at 3,000 feet. We actually need to be at 2,500 feet at Davla. Kind of taking our time here because the plane wants to slow down. Actually put our flaps out as well. Let's start descending here. Let's go. Nope. Don't know Hannah St. Juliana. Don't know who that is. Okay, so that's kind of crazy how our ETA or a destination has kind of sped up again. We were about, what, a minute out? Now we're 3 minutes out. But that's because we're going around, or on our approach here. Alright, descending 2,000. So we should cross 2,500 on this turn, hopefully. Get our pressure.
Cleared ILS. Zulu approach at 2,000. Runway 11. Report established on localizer. Cleared ILS. Zulu approach at 2,000. Runway 11. Report
Okay, we're just below the glide slope, so I think we should be alright. Just below that diamond. Who is Hannah St. Juliana? And who is she that a mosque would be named after her? Very interesting. Because you guys really don't use the whole saint thing. Yeah. Hannah Saint. Oh, okay, it's just the name.
$2,500.
Hit the approach.
$2,000.
Oh. Alright, we're at 2,000. We're at full flaps. Landing gear down. Yes? Landing gear down, please. There we go. Medium auto brake. Let's check the cabin and arm the spoilers. Oh no, the one I found was about some girl that was in a recent school shooting here in America. Like a little mountain or something there.
Surinam 631, established on localizer. Surinam 631, contact Beatrix, Tower 118.0. Contact Beatrix, Tower 118.0. Surinam 631. Beatrix Tower, Surinam 631, on final 11. Surinam 631, wind 100 degrees at 10 knots, cleared to land 11. Cleared to land 11, Surinam 631.
One thousand.
Okay, there's the runway.
Five hundred. 400. 100 above, 300. Minimum, 200. 110, 100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard, retard. 5.
Surinam 631, report vacated. Report vacated, Surinam 631.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 7:29 a.m. and it's currently about 29 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the
All right.
Tower, Surinam
Pretty good landing.
631, runway vacated with Alpha.
Use caution when opening the overhead bin. as
Surinam
pilots may have shifted
631,
gears in
taxi
flight.
to
We thank
gate
you for
4,
flying with us.
by Alpha.
Yeah, so here's an example where it's like the
Taxi
frame rate
to
kind of
gate 4,
bites
by Alpha.
and doesn't seem
Surinam
much better anymore
631.
than it used to be. When I first did the flights with this new graphics card, it actually felt really good at the airports coming in, but now it's a little kind of lost it. All right, let's get those flaps cleared, disarm that, and the APU. All right, gate 4. Oh, girl. Let's see what planes we got here. It looks like a Delta and a JetBlue right near us. There we go. Alright, we are going for gate
The
4.
requested position is already assigned to another aircraft.
That's assigned to me. No, don't need to follow me. Yeah, what's up? What do you suggest? Okay, this doesn't look right. Where do we... Usually they'll have a marshaller. Fly to Paro. We're gonna be flying to Paro eventually. Yeah, we're kind of parked a little weird here, but it didn't... Not very clear where we're supposed to park. In relation to the jetway, at least. Alright, taxi lights off. APU on. Engine master switches off. And beacon light come off.
You are currently parked at the wrong parking position.
It warped me there. How am I in the wrong position? Oh, okay. So this is gate 4. That's not gate 4. It's on the map. It's gate 6. We're supposed to get this one. Okay. Well, that works. I suppose if I had looked at GSX, there would have been a guy waving at me or there or something. Who knows? Alright, we're at the gate now. Properly. We do have external power, so we'll turn that on. And engines are down. Let's see. Could fly from Oakland County International Airport to Helsinki. Fly to Paro. What about an airport with a hard approach? I have gone to airports with hard approaches. Like with this world tour, it's just kind of going point to point, and when we run into a hard approach, I just have to do the hard approach. And I have flown Paro before. It's gonna be nice to do it in this sim in the actual Airbus as opposed to a Boeing 737 like I did in Flybywire, or in Flybywire, in X-Plane. You making a flight Oakland County Airport in Michigan in the A380. Well, when the A380 comes out, yeah, I don't know if I'd be going from Oakland County Airport though. I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I'd be doing a driving blog, since I used to drive semi-truck, and now I do local, and I never really got the blogging part together really good on that, and now it's a little late to do it. Maybe if I do go back over the road, or there's a lot of things I should have done. What? Let's do that. I hate it when it does that. Menu opens up and then it goes away. There we go. That's requested boarding.
Boarding requested.
So again, we won't be able to see the passengers getting out because these are enclosed jetways versus the glass ones I had been using. But it seems like the GSX Pro jetways are working again. So I had bought the Latin VFR glass ones, and you could actually see the passengers walking through them most of the time. But I think they have a mix of them with these. Hey, Gamer Doggy, welcome in. Have you not been to? I've not been to, yeah, not been to Vladivostok. There's a lot of airports I haven't been to yet. But I'm gonna pull it up here where we world tour, and there's a lot of places, yeah, I still haven't gone. So yeah, put your requests in. I would suggest heading over to the Discord, joining my Discord. There is a flight requests section there. Put in the airport you'd like me to fly from, the airport you'd like me to fly to, what airline you'd like to fly if there's something like that, what plane. I'll try to do those. If you just want me to fly from an airport to airport and then pick whatever I want to do, you know, that's cool also. Put in the airport code, also the ICAO code, the 4-letter one. That way it makes it a little easier for me to know which airport, because sometimes people put in just the name of a city, and it's like there's a lot of cities with the same name in the world in reality. We should probably turn off the seatbelt sign. Passengers can get off. We'll turn off the bleed for the APU as well. Fuel pumps come off. Oxygen supply. You can see the passengers getting off right there. Not perfect, but still pretty cool, I think. While they're getting off the plane, we're going to go check out Valanta and review the flight. Valanta. Actually, be watching them right there. We're the first person to arrive in Aruba today on Valanta. There's our flight. Basically, no real diversions, no real issues. There's our stats. Landing rate, again, not a bad landing. I'm happy I've been able to get some decent landings lately. Had been... A lot of them were over 300, 400 feet per minute, kind of burying them in the ground. Now they've been pretty nice. Negative 180, 99 G-force right on point. Landing speed a little bit low. Flight time about 2.5 hours. Just over 1,000 miles. The flight. Good flight. Next one we're going to be just bouncing right over from Aruba over to Bonaire right here in the 787. That'll probably be this evening or sometime this week if I don't get on again this afternoon to fly. Looks like all the passengers have deboarded. We'll zip out of here.
Do you want to deboard?
They look creepy. Yes, they do look creepy. This is Queen. I'll jump over here so you can kind of get a little right up in the right corner there. You can see the Aruba flag. Queen Beatrix International Airport, Tango November Charlie Alpha. I believe I think I have a mod for this airport. It's a freeware mod if it's anything. If there is anything modded. Oh, the pilots and everyone come off
Crew
too.
boarding starting.
Yeah, they are a little creepy, to be honest. Yep. Alright, we'll turn off the navigation system. Turn off the emergency lights. Turn off the lights. Thermal power can come off. Turn the battery off. There you go. Dark plane. We've got to look. That JetBlue's gonna move out to take off. Before he does, we're gonna check out my little map here of our world tour so far. Everywhere we've been, it's not showing all the flights, but showing all the countries we've been flown into.
Starting.
And I think like this and like this. There it is. So you see we got a big area of the world over in the eastern part of the world there, Asia, Australia, Oceania, and we still got a bunch of the Caribbean to do. zoom in over here, and we will reveal Aruba. There it is. There's Aruba. Next time we'll be flying right over here to Bonaire, and then from Bonaire over to Curaçao, and we'll complete the ABC Islands. Alright, and the last thing before I sign off, we'll pull up Pack X again. See, all the passengers are off here. Hit end flight. And again, we get to see their information. Landing rate, right around 180 again, 177. 154 passengers, very slightly ahead of schedule. That's good. Soft landing. That's always good too, when they're not complaining about a hard landing. Looks like someone was a little thirsty. I'm a little thirsty. Totally telling my friends about this airline, and I'm glad World Tour continues to impress. Thank you. Thank you very much, passengers. Glad to have you on. Ooh, and we've just achieved the rank of Master Captain in my World Tour career. That's pretty cool. Well, we'll close that out. Alright, so thanks for coming along in this flight. We'll go back over here. This is my original screen. You can see the whole wide screen and where we flew to. This was our flight from Zanderij, Suriname to Oranjestad, Aruba at Queen Beatrix International Airport. The next stream will be possibly this afternoon, 3-4 o'clock, in 3 or 4 hours, depending on everything I gotta get done, go grocery shopping, taking care of the baby, all that stuff. If not today, I'll be jumping on sometime this week. I'll have a day off before the weekend. I'm not sure if I'm off this weekend. My work schedule, I'm actually not even on the schedule. My boss is just telling me, yeah, come at this time, come at this time. So it's a little up in the air. But I hope to see you then. Just pay attention to YouTube. I'll try to post something on Discord, so join over there. But pay attention on YouTube. I'll try to update the scheduled time for the next stream, so you can jump in and we can talk some more. And hope to see more of you guys following. Yeah, where are we going next? FG Teswis? I don't know how to say your name if you have an easier way, but awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already on the channel so you get notifications. We're going to be flying from here, Aruba, over to Bonaire, which is just a short hop. We're going to be in the 787-10 with the KLM orange bloom livery or whatever it's called. Really cool look. And that's going to be a very short flight. Might be able to get that in this afternoon. And then after that, we'll be flying from Bonaire to Curaçao. And we flew over both those islands on our approach into this one. It's not going to be too long of flights, both those flights. We might even be able to just do one stream for both those flights. So hopefully you guys will be there. Yep. Ooh, someone's taking off. Man, I can't turn my plane around. Oh, well, he's still... What am I hearing? Oh, no one took off. Or is that just him? Whoa. Got a plane up there. Is that just the guy at the end of the runway? There was someone over there. He just disappeared. Oh, there they are. That JetBlue. X-Class Kiwi. Just in time to watch this JetBlue take off. There he goes. Pretty cool. Yep, that's from FSLTL and FS HUD ATC working together. Didn't really hear anyone coming over the comm though, which is a little weird. Oh, the camera's too fast right now. Yeah, we came in on Suriname Airways. Nice collection of planes right here. Let's see. Yeah, see ya, Mika. See ya, Tewis. Yeah, Kiwi. Doing well, doing well. You just kind of missed the stream here. Did a nice flight. The flight time ended up being 2.5 hours from Suriname over here to Aruba. This afternoon, I'm gonna try to get on. Cool, Singapore to Jakarta. That's a nice flight. I'm gonna try to get on this afternoon. We'll see. We'll see how my wife is feeling about that and how much time. But it should only be a pretty short flight. Maybe do 2 flights, depending if I can get away with it. Because we're gonna fly from here to Bonaire. We're gonna be in the 787 KLM for what, a 10-minute flight, I would guess, from here to Bonaire. 10-20-minute flight. It's not that far. And then from Bonaire to Curaçao, which is the island in between these 2 islands, Aruba and Bonaire, the ABC Islands. That one we're going to be in the CRJ, and that's going to be, what, a 10-15-minute flight also. So we're probably going to spend more time setting up the flight and loading into the flight and getting the plane set up than we're actually going to be flying. But we'll knock out those 2 quote-unquote countries. I don't know if they're countries, actually. Is Aruba. I know Bonaire is not. Bonaire is part of the Dutch Indies, I think. But Curaçao and Aruba might be independent. But they're all these kind of, you know, kind of countries, kind of territories, whatever they are. Whether they're British, or they're Dutch, or French, or even the couple United States ones like Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So, yep, that's where we're going to be going next. We're going to get out of the... Just as soon as I get used to using the A320 again, I'm going to have to get used to using the 787, but I have to see if there's a download for the heavy division 787, and then make sure it actually works so we don't get into the flight, get everything set up, spend half an hour setting up, and then the pushback doesn't work or something with that plane. Yeah, the constituent countries, all that kind of stuff, so I'm counting them as different because my... basically, I'm just flying to every country or territory or thing that Volanta recognizes as a separate place. And the same with my Illustrator map that I have there. It's like, oh, this is a separate place. Okay, cool. But yeah, a lot of these are constituent country, like Aruba and Curaçao and Bonaire are constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. But they are separate countries. They're not the same as the Netherlands, but they're part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And same with the French ones. The French ones get a little tricky. French Guyana, for example, right? But we'll get to that when we fly there, and we'll see if people can remember. Because I think I mentioned it before, but it'll be a trivia question on that flight. But that's kind of the interesting thing on these, is kind of figuring out, it's like, okay, is this a country or is this not a country? Or is this a part of a country, or is it a country within a kingdom? You know, I'm even talking, I mean, we didn't do separate... I didn't fly to separate places in the United Kingdom, for example, right? I just flew to the United Kingdom. Now, I did fly to... I think I flew to... what, Edinburgh, flew to London. But I didn't fly to somewhere in Wales. I didn't fly to somewhere in Northern Ireland. But those are all technically constituent countries of the Kingdom of the United Kingdom. Getting close to flying in Oceania now for my tour. Cool. Are you basically doing the same kind of thing that I'm doing? Flying in every country? Or I couldn't remember what your plan for your tour is. But FG, do you prefer big international or small international airports? I like small ones because I don't like the long taxis. It's a mix. I like like this is a good one. I like an airport like this where it's small, but there's some activity still. At least there are some planes taking off. There are some planes at the gates. There are gates. There's some that are so small that there's no freeware that's made them better. There's nothing that actually works and makes them good. And they're kind of a mess. Like the airport we came from was a little bit of a mess. I do like the big ones. The fun thing is that when we run into the big ones with this world tour, the big ones don't pop up every single flight, but we do run into a place like Dubai, or we do end up going to a Singapore or, you know, an LAX, and it's like, wow, this is kind of cool to be at the big airport, you know, the long taxi, yeah, the long taxi. But even some of these small, you know, small international airports, you'll still have a long taxi, but there's nothing going on, nothing to see on the long taxi. But yeah, that's why I'm doing this world tour, because it lets me go to big airports, small airports. I have to fly different planes. I have to make sure I'm flying the right plane into an airport, because, yeah, you can't fly. You know, we're going to be flying into St. Barths. We're going to be flying into some of these Caribbean islands. You know, these islands here, yeah, I can fly an A320 in. No problem. I can fly a 787 in, I guess, right? Because KLM and British Airways do that. But there's somewhere, like St. Barths, yeah, if I'm flying an A320 and going, oh yeah, we'll fly an A320 on this flight because I don't have, you know, an ATR or whatever, I'm going to have trouble landing there. So I have to fly the Cessna or something smaller. But yeah, I flew the Caribbean. I did a test flight yesterday just to make sure things were working. I flew out of St. Barths, took off there, flew over to St. Eustatius, I think. And yeah, it was beautiful. Did a sunset flight. So I'm looking forward to doing all those, and we're probably going to bunch up a bunch of flights on the same stream when we're bouncing there on those small islands, because they're only 5-10 minute flights, a lot of them. Alright, yeah, hopefully, I don't know if I'll be on next Saturday, but if I am, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Whoa, everyone. Good luck reaching 2,500 subscribers. Yeah, hopefully. Please subscribe, everyone. We're kind of hovering around 1,000 right now, going back and forth, 1,000 to 999. It's going back. Let's see. Yeah, basically doing what you, but not to every single country, but to most. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to every single country, and I've even had to go back and forth to try just to get to them. Caribbean islands are fun. Yep. Okay. Got the BAE a week or so ago. Yeah, there's some planes that I see them, people flying them all the time. The Mad Dog, the BAE. I'm really just interested in. I'm kind of interested in getting the E-Jets, but at the same time, I shouldn't spend any more money right now. I should probably just wait until maybe next year to spend any money, because I did a bunch of computer upgrading. And it's just not really in the budget to do any of that. FG likes airports like St. Martin. Yeah, I'm looking forward to flying into St. Martin. Hopefully I need to figure out the mods, or which version of that airport is the best. I know they did a nice upgrade for it with the 40th anniversary edition, I think, here. Alright, subscribe with the bell on. Awesome. Yeah, I think you probably sent me the link for the BAE a while ago. And I would love to see flying in the Emirates Sky Cargo. Oh, yes. I do have the Sky Cargo livery. I love flying cargo 747s from time to time. I wish I had more time, because I prefer to fly a longer flight in the 747 than just a short hop. Let's see, what is it? You'd love to see me fly Sky Cargo from Berlin to Dhaka during Easter, Ramadan, and Passover. Is Ramadan at the same time as Easter and Passover too? I always, it's enough for me to keep Easter and Passover and when those are dropping at the same time. That'd be a cool flight. Yeah, like I said, remind me of that as we get closer to that time. Go on my Discord and post it in there too, because then I can write it down and schedule it even. Whew. Yep, I have the mixed feelings. I haven't been following closely, but I've seen a number of videos from a few of the people I subscribe to talking about, or at least one guy. I don't know if he has an axe to grind or something, or if he's legit. About the kind of the misleading that you were going to get all the jets, all 4 or whatever of the jets in the package, and now you only get 1 or you only get 2, and then there'll be another package that you have to pay for to get the other 2. And it's like, well, that's not what it was originally. Now, again, I haven't been following them, so I don't know. And I didn't really like pay attention to any reviews yet so far to see like what the current state of it is. But okay, this is a very interesting. Whoop. Oh, okay. Maybe I thought he taxied out all the way to the runway for some reason. But he just kind of taxied out to this taxi line. Mr. Delta. What a... Camera's moving too fast. It's pretty nice, but at the current state, it's beta state at most, pretty much early access, so not everything is even developed. Yeah, and I understand that. That's fine if they're going to keep developing. And you're willing to pay. I mean, how much are they selling it for? You know, I'd pay if it was a plane I really wanted to have in my arsenal and be able to fly on this world tour, which is I haven't really run into too many needing the E-jets so much on this world tour. If I am doing a lot more, I probably have, and I've just swapped it out for the A320 or whatever. But if it was something I really wanted in my arsenal, and I was like, oh, okay, here we have it. It's still early on. We haven't developed everything yet. Similar to Flybywire, everything wasn't developed right when it first came out, but it has continued to grow. The only thing I'm worried about is with a payware, I'm going to pay you $20, $30 for this early access, and then it never actually progresses, because some people have done that. Well, they'll take your money, and then, oh, this project, okay, we're done. It's like, no, you're not. It's a lot of this stuff isn't developed yet, and it's definitely not worth $20, $30, $40, $50. 33 without VAT, okay. I mean, but originally I think one of the complaints was that it was going to be 33 without VAT, and you were going to get the E170, the E175, E1, I don't know, the 190, 194, whatever they are. You were going to get 4 different jets. And now it's like, oh no, you're only get 2, or you're only get 1, and whatever it is. Unaira would also love to see a travel vlog to Finland. Well, the only travel log I could do would be a travel log. I mean, if you mean a real life travel log, I mean, I guess at some point. I mean, we would love to be able to travel to Europe. Again, that would be a more realistic thing when I was living in China. Now it's a lot harder. America's just more expensive, and it's harder to travel actually than when we lived in China and had more free time and actually more disposable income. So maybe in the future we'll move back to China, and then we'll start traveling the world and making vlogs, and I don't know. But yeah, that would be awesome to go to Finland. Yep, 33 without the VAT, but they'll increase the price twice during their development. Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. They're going to increase and go, well, now you're getting a more complete product, and so now we're going to charge you $60. That's like, yeah, I think 33. I mean, what was it? I think it's called Wings 42. They have that Boeing 247, which is an older plane, old prop plane, and there's so much detail to it, and so much you have to do is, you know, it's a study level older plane. I mean, it's actually a frustrating plane to fly. I haven't figured it out yet. And I think that's only like $20. It's like, that's where planes should be. They should be $20. Oh yeah, but we have to put all this in. It's like, well, some people do. I understand. But it's like, you look at what Flybywire has done for free. You know? And then these people come in and they're like, oh yeah, but we have to charge $60 for this half-baked product. Let me answer Zanderij before Zanderij takes off. This is on Twitch. Yep, this is on Twitch too. Still on Twitch. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys. Yep, on Twitch, on YouTube. Trying to grow the Twitch channel. But whichever one takes off, we're streaming to both right now. For sure. At the moment, the E175 and the 70 are free. Oh, so the E175 you buy for 33, and the 170 comes with it, and then yeah. But I think one of the complaints was that it sounded like all 4 of them were going to be in one package. Yeah, that Wing 42, and it's a really, I mean, I haven't flown it enough. I just haven't had time to sit down and learn it, and I'd love to fly it on stream. I know a few of the fellow guys I stream with, Creepy Kirk and Fearless Gaming, a number of those guys, Ibanez. They've flown those together, and it's a really cool plane, and really takes you back to flying in the 30s and the 40s, flying by the radio beam and all that. It's really cool. I just haven't gotten the engine part down. I always end up my engine start on fire and I crash. Yep, exactly. I have engine issues. Or if I do get them off the ground, like the first flight, I think I need to just completely reinstall it so it resets, because it's got that persistent state, which I wish you could turn that off. Because, like, okay, if my plane crashes and everything's messed up, and now I restart at an airport next time and things are all still messed up, and for some reason the engines don't work because technically they're broken or whatever, how am I supposed to fix that? Alright, there goes Delta. I don't know why I'm not hearing them talk on FS, because it's not on, actually. Beatrix Tower. Let's turn Beatrix Tower on here so we can hear what's going on. Oh, it's actually because I turned my plane off, so I don't hear the radio calls anymore. That's why. That'd be cool. Travel by road. Or by train or something, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a little hard to unify when you still have a little bit of a conflict going on, right? Yeah, thank you, Zanira. Thank you for the good wishes. Yeah, I was hoping that once we'd hit 1,000, it'd start growing exponentially. I don't know. I mean, it's just for fun. I can't really dedicate a ton of time into it. If I really wanted to, I'd have to make a sacrifice and say, okay, I'm gonna really focus. Delta didn't take off already. Delta was just taxiing there. The JetBlue took off earlier. At Twitch, but deleted it. I tried the ATR-72 a few weeks ago. Pretty decent mod, but the steering has on controller sucks. Oh, like the ATR community one that's on flightsim.to? Yeah. I fly that every once in a while on these streams. It works pretty decently. There's a lot of stuff I need to do research on. It's more just having the time. I'd love to be able to do, I mean, I'm so envious of the people that have built great YouTube channels around whatever it is, whatever subject they're really interested in. They've just built a really good brand and really great videos, informative videos. I'd love to do something like educational like that, but the time that I don't have now, I had time when I was in China and I didn't do it, and now that I have that kind of, I'd like to be able to, work towards doing something like that. I don't have the time. And then what happens is I start a project and then I just give up, So. Well, this is why I like doing this world tour, because wherever I am, like when we were flying in Africa, I had a lot of people following from Africa, and we're so appreciative that I was flying into a lot of places in Africa that people never fly into, doing live streams or videos on YouTube. And then, the same when we're in the Middle East, and I really enjoy flying the Middle East too, because it got mixing it up. Like right now on the world tour, with the world tour, what happens is that you end up being kind of in one area of the world for a good chunk of time. And so, you know, we were in Europe for a chunk of time, so everything was pretty green and white, right? You had the winter or you had the greens. And then, like, when you're in the Middle East, everything's kind of that brown color a lot. Same with Africa. You get the green, depending where you are in Africa, right? And right now here, it's like we've been kind of in this equator area of the world for a while, and you know, and just because I force myself point to point on this world tour, it does that, as opposed to a lot of people are like, okay, today I want to fly in the snow up north. Okay, now we're going to fly in the tropics. Now we're going to fly in the desert. But it's always fun going to all these different places. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. All cultures are. I mean, there's so many. I think the biggest place I really enjoyed flying to, and I'm going to enjoy flying there again here on this world tour, and would be fun to go there in real life, is Central Asia. Kind of like Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, that place where most people in the world, we'll think about, you know, even if we don't know a lot about Africa or South America or the Middle East or Asia, or, you know, we're like, yeah, those places kind of register, and they always register in my mind. But the one that always gets overlooked is Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, that area where it's kind of this like mysterious kind of area almost. Because, you know, when you think Middle East, you kind of have an image in your mind. When you think, you know, the East, you know, East Asia, you have, you know, China, Korea in your mind, Japan. But what do you think of when you think of like Central Asia? You know, what is that? The steppes there. Oakland County. You really like Oakland County Airport. Are you from Oakland County? You really like Oakland County Airport. To Helsinki to Jeddah. Most of the time when I look for Africa on the sim, those airports like Nairobi. Yep, there's a few. I mean, there's a few that pop up on the sim. There's a few handcrafted airports, which is really cool that Africa gets the love there. A few of them. Well, yeah, I think here in the West, we're so centric on the West that we think, and we always kind of, we criticize ourselves a lot, and we also we also give ourselves a lot of credit, and we tend to, when we're criticizing ourselves, we tend to forget that there's a lot of problems in the rest of the world, and it's not just caused by the West always. There's always been cultural issues and economic issues and ethnic issues and territorial issues between peoples that aren't Western European. But there's, you know, the culture when you get away from all that is really cool, going to all these different places. Exactly. All right, well, flight ended quite a while ago. We've just been kind of talking here, staring at nothing here at the airport, but that's all right. Oh, I thought the whole airport kind of went blank. I need to get off though. I gotta eat some lunch and do some other stuff, and hopefully I'll be on later. If not, I will see you next time we stream, and hopefully we'll get some longer ones in, talk about more stuff, get some more people in here, invite your friends, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Yeah, we'll be getting, like I said, you can, what do you mean visit Jeddah? Well, I gotta step out now, so thanks for hanging out. And until next time, take care, happy flying, and have a good new year.